Have you ever stood on a railway platform at night and wondered, where do the trains go when they're not on the timetable? What if one arrived, out of nowhere, silent, gleaming, as if waiting just for you? Would you get on? This is the story of a young researcher who did. Her name was Clara, and she never came back. Clara Bennett was a 27-year-old researcher in urban history. Not a thrill seeker, not a ghost hunter. Her passion was archives, forgotten maps, and documenting ruins. On a fellowship in Eastern Europe, she traveled town to town, photographing abandoned factories, collapsed bridges, and old stations. But one night, a local librarian leaned across the counter, lowering his voice to a whisper. "You're looking for history, yes? Then stay away from Karska Station. The train still runs there. But it's not for the living." Clara laughed it off, at first. At 11:30 p.m., Clara found herself at the gates of Karska Station. The roof sagged like broken ribs. Rusted iron beams jutted out at strange angles. The air was heavy, stale, like being inside an attic sealed for decades. She switched on her recorder. Field notes, October 12th. Station abandoned, likely fire damage. Strong structural decay. Definitely 1960s architecture. But then she noticed it. The schedule board. Every departure time was scratched out. Every arrival time erased. Except one. One untouched line, faded but legible. 12:04 a.m., train 73. Her heart quickened. That was less than half an hour away. Clara set her tripod, half joking with herself. At 12:04 sharp, the ground began to tremble. A low rumble. Then, out of the mist, a train slid silently into the station. It wasn't rusted. It wasn't broken. Its metal shone like it had just been polished. The windows glowed faintly, but there was no sound of an engine, no screech of brakes, just silence. The doors hissed open, and Clara, her breath caught between fear and fascination, stepped inside. The air inside smelled of iron and wet stone. Every seat was occupied. Men and women from different eras sat frozen. A soldier in a 1940s uniform. A woman in a 1960s dress. A miner with mud-caked boots. A child holding a stuffed bear with missing eyes. They didn't move. Didn't blink. Their faces pale, waxy, almost embalmed. Clara muttered into her recorder. "Mannequins? No people, I think." And then the soldier's head turned toward her. Just enough to let her know he was alive. The exit was behind her. She turned to leave, but a figure blocked the doorway. Tall, thin, wearing a crisp conductor's uniform, burnt at the edges. A cap shadowed his face. The only thing visible was his smile. Wide. Too wide. "Ticket," he rasped. Clara stammered. I don't have one." The smile stretched further. "You boarded. You belong." And with that, the doors slammed shut. The train lurched forward, moving at impossible speed. But outside the windows, Clara didn't see countryside. Instead, every window showed something different. A burning village. A collapsing tunnel. A river filled with wreckage. A graveyard of rusted trains. She pressed her face to the glass. Each scene was from another time, another tragedy. Her recorder picked up her trembling whisper. "These are accidents. Disasters from the past." The passengers began to whisper in unison. "Not your seat. Not your time. Not your seat. Not your time." Clara ran through the cars, desperate. One was filled entirely with coffins, each lid slightly open. Another dripped water endlessly, as though submerged. Another smelled of gasoline, the seats scorched. Finally, the last carriage. Empty, except for a single chair. On it lay a ticket. Her name was printed across it in black ink. Clara Bennett, one way. The conductor appeared again, closer now, whispering, "We've been waiting." The passengers rose from their seats. Their movements stiff, unnatural. Their eyes black as soot. Clara screamed, clutching the ticket. The train slowed. Outside the window, she saw nothing but black tunnels and collapsing bridges. She dropped the ticket and ran, crashing through the doors, throwing herself off the moving train. When she opened her eyes, it was dawn. The train was gone. The tracks were gone. Only her recorder lay in the dirt beside her. She pressed play. Static. Then her own voice. But warped. Distorted. Whispering words she never said. She boarded. She belongs. Weeks later, Clara's colleagues received a package. No return address. Her leather notebook. Page after page scrawled with the same line, 1204. Train 73. Don't board. But the last page was different. The handwriting jagged, uneven. Next departure, 1204. Clara Bennett, passenger. The forgotten train runs every night. But it never appears on timetables. If you hear a whistle in the distance at midnight, don't follow the tracks. Because once you step inside, you belong to it forever.